Hi YouTube, it's me again. Right, I have got to do some serious Phalaenopsis maintenance. I have neglected these orchids for long enough. It's been several months since I had a real good look at them and sorted them out. So I'm going to repot some of them, and some of them I'm going to just readjust in the pots, shall we say, because some of them are sort of falling out. So I've got some pots here that I'm going to use. I've drilled some holes in them. I'll show you those in a minute. I've also got some bark all mixed up here. I just need to get a scoop. I'll go and get one of those in the garden. So this is a mixture of small and large bark. It's been soaking for a while. I've also got a bit of scoria, which is the clay or the lava rock stuff, and mixed in amongst it as well. No moss, because I can't have moss in this part of the world in my orchids, really, because it just keeps them too wet, especially because this is a big house with a big room. It's only got a log burner, and in the winter they stay just too wet, so I can't have moss. So I've got a bucket here for the rubbish, and also these pots. I'm going to do a video on how I did these, but literally I just took one of my husband's drills to this, and I'll show you how I tidied them all up. So these pots are going to be used for quite a few of them to be repotted in, and so I'm going to film some of them. I'm going to bring them out of these glass jars and pot them, and I'm going to show you what they look like, and you know, anything that's interesting I'll film on the way. But just before I get started, I will show you some of them anyway. This one's not looking too good. Some of the leaves have got like mottling in that on them. It just, you know, some of the leaves are looking seriously dehydrated, so I might take some of those leaves off to try and save the plant a bit better. But this one along the way is much better, faring much better. It's got lots of green, lovely green roots poking out here, there and everywhere. But the roots that are down in the water, I think just, well, no, barely any water. You can see I've neglected them. Look at the state of the glass. It's interesting, this has stayed clear, this has gone gunky. But I'm bringing them out of the water culture now. I'm going back into bark. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit easier. So let's have a look at the others. Some of them I'm not going to touch, even though these are in glasses and there's no drainage in the bottom of these. I may repot that, I may not, because at the moment it seems perfectly happy in that glass, so I might leave that one. This one here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one yet. I may take it out of there and put it in a pot. I'm not going to play with this one too much because this one's in flower and it's looking beautiful. So I'm not going to play around with that one too much. Probably won't play around with this one too much either because that's in flower as well. I'll just bring it round. It's looking gorgeous. It's also got a kiki developing. Well, it's a kiki here and a kiki there. And then a bit further along, I've got these, which have got, I mean, look at the length of this root here. That's doing well, and the plant looks okay. I might just tidy it up and just remove some of the dead roots that are poking out. The same with this one, may not move that one. And yeah, but they all need a tidy up. I need to clean the leaves off. I've got some cotton pads I'm going to use for that. And look at the root on this one. It's amazing. It's come up. I've watched this grow, come up over the, it was, last time I looked was on here. It's now gone over the rock, which is great because that's anchoring this plant in the pot. Be a bit difficult when I come to repot it, but I'm probably not going to repot this one. I'm just going to give the leaves a good clean, and yeah, and probably take off these sort of floppy. Well, no, I probably won't take off the dehydrated ones. But anyway, I'm going to film it as I go, and yeah, anything interesting I'll put on film. Right, so here we are then. got all my equipment, gone and got my scoop. These are just some antibacterial wipes that are completely dried out, so I'm just giving them a bit of a soak in, and I'll use those to wipe off the leaves. I've also got some cotton pads here if I have to use those. I've also got my little container of alcohol, hydrogen peroxide I should say, which is that one there. That's the biggest I can buy in New Zealand, would you believe, from the chemist. Rubbish. My little cotton pads, or cotton buds I should say, and yeah, so I think that's about it. Oh, scissors. Yeah, scissors. So I'll just pause and go and get a small pair. Right, so I've got my scissors. I'm going to give these a good wipe with a cotton pad and a bit of alcohol. And I shall do this between each plant. If I cut leaves, then I shall do this with each plant. I have got one of those little sterilised, like, you know, things that you use to burn, those little burners, but I can't find it right now. We use it to light the fire as well. Right, so that's those done. They were quite dirty. Right, so they're ready. So the first plant I'm going to look at is this one. We're going to take it out and have a look at it. So, yeah, it's not got much water, but what water it did have in it is quite clear, considering. I mean, I've not changed that for months, seriously. I've really, really neglected these Phalaenopsis. So, yeah, so let's take a look at the plant. So the plant's not too bad. It's got a few sort of floppy-ish leaves here, but I don't think I want to cut them off because, yeah, I think, you know, the leaves will die back naturally if they don't need to be there. So, yeah, so all I'm going to do is look at these roots, and I'll be seriously honest with you, there's not many roots here worth saving. So, I'm just going to cut them off in this bucket. So that one's definitely gone. Oh, that's funny because this root is all soft and mushy up here, but it's firm down the bottom. So it's obviously grown from this point. Let me get the scissors. It's grown from this point here, and then it's thickened up down the bottom. So I'm not going to cut that one off. That one is definitely a goner, so that one's going to be cut off. And this one's a goner. Yep, so that one's going to be cut off. That one's, yeah. So I'm going to pull a lot of the old sort of outer casing of the root as well off. And any really dry bits of root that doesn't need to be on there. That one's a goner too. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Now that one, again, that one's got really hollow outer casing, which I'm just going to pull away. But the root down below is okay. You see this got a little new root coming there? Can you see that? So I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to take that off. Just pull away the sort of papery stuff. I don't know if that will die back or whether it will grow, but hey, this plant's got very few roots. Most of them are aerial roots, so I'm going to keep as many as I can, obviously, to give the plant a chance to regrow. And that's a dead root there. And so is that one. Make sure that one's a dead root. So, that one down there. So I think that's about it. Let's clean up. I might try and take this papery velenum, I think it's called, off. Just down to there. And that one there. Yeah, that's got to come off as well. So I'm going to leave this wispy stuff because that will help anchor it into the pot, because this one is going to go in a pot. So while it's out, I'm going to give it a good wipe off with this antibacterial wipe that I've wet down. Have a good look at it to make sure that it's, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Make sure it's not full of bugs. I'm pretty sure that one of these has got mealybugs on it. Not this lot here, but the lot I've still yet to do. So that's definitely got to be dealt with. And yeah, like I say, I've really seriously neglected these plants over the last few months, so I need to up my game, as they say. So the new leaves they're not brilliant, but they're okay. So yeah, so that's about it for a tidy up, nice and quick. So what I'm going to do is I am going to repot this. Now this pot seems a little overkill, I guess, for this size plant, but you know, I didn't make any holes in the smaller pots. I only made them in these medium-sized pots, and you know, I'm going to take a chance on that. So yeah, so I'm going to hold the plant in the middle and have that root down the bottom, and I'm just going to fill it with the bark, and all the water can run down through. I don't think I'm going to have enough bark mixed up at this rate, but that's okay. So I'm not going to put it right at the top of the pot. I'm going to have it sat down so the leaves sort of rest on the pot to give it some sort of stability as well. Give it a good shake. So I'm having it down that far, a little bit more on that side. So I'm sort of giving it a little bit of a push down, not too much. I don't want to squish those delicate roots. And I think that's the first one done. So that'll get some nice air movement now through these holes, and it definitely looks happier in there than it did in the glass. And I hold it up, it's dripping. You'll see I haven't got it right at the top. I put it down lower in the pot in order for it to be a bit more stable in the pot, but that's pretty stable, so I'm happy with that. I always give them a good shake about to knock all those bits of bark down and settle down, and I think that's a good job on that one. So I'll do one more on film, and then I'll pause until I see anything else interesting, and I'll restart it. So let's have a look at this bigger one. Now this is quite a big one. This could probably, ooh, it had a stone in the glass. So actually this glass is not that dirty. It was the stone we were looking at. And you see, for several months I haven't changed that. So the water is not too bad. So let's have a look at the plant itself. So this one's got a much bigger root system, but it's, yeah, and it's got lots of new roots coming. Leaves are looking all nice and stiff, turgid, I think you call that, so apart from this one. So it's not too bad at all. So I'm quite pleased with that one. Actually, I'm just going to turn the light on here. It might make it a bit better because I don't know what. Even though it's bright sunny out there today, I'm not sure whether there's enough light in here for filming. So yeah, so I'm going to give this a tidy up, take off some of the roots. All these are bit iffy. See, these are all okay. I know they look a bit yucky. That whole section there is a goner. So I'm going to cut, oh, I need to sterilise my scissors. So let's just get a bit of sterilise my scissors is remembering to do this. There we go. So that's them done. So back to the plant. So that root's okay. That one there, that could be cut off. These scissors aren't very good, but they'll do. Where else have we got here? That whole piece there can be cut off. Soaking that bit, but I'm just going to pull off the outer casing, because this stuff here, although it probably rots, it's probably not too bad. It'll help anchor the plant in the pot, so I don't always cut it all off. I tend to leave it in there, leave it on there. Let's look at the back here. So that can be cut off. Yep, that whole one there can be cut off. So the roots aren't brilliant really, considering, you know, the size of the leaves. I think the whole plant is relying on these aerial roots to get moisture, but that's okay. So these are all right, although they look dirty. And I'm not too worried about that. I'll just cut that bit off. Right, so I'm back. What happened there was my memory. I can only record so many videos before my memory runs out. I've got to sort my tablet out and get rid of some stuff. But anyway, I've wiped the leaves off, as you can see. So that's all doing well. So again, I'm going to put it in a pink pot. I've got a feeling, actually I think this is a white Phalaenopsis. So I'm going to put that one in here. So put a little bit of this in the bottom. And then sort of fit it in here as best I can. And then backfill. Let's get it on there. Mix. So this pot is definitely the right size pot for this size plant. Damaging those lovely aerial roots. Come on, get off. There you go. And what I'll do is, I love these stones for anchoring things down. They're all clean. I've boiled them. Before I used them, brought them in the house, I boiled them on the stove. And I'm just going to put a stone, which I've got a spare one here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Oh, I use this one. I'll just give it a rinse, the one that was in the pot originally. You just have to bear with me a minute. And it just helps it, keeps it in balance. So I'm just going to pop it underneath there, just with that root. And it just helps weight the pot, anchor it in, and stop the plant from flopping around. Because I find they do flop around otherwise. I could do another one that side actually, just to push it that way. So I've got a spare one here, which I'm just going to rinse off. And you'll see it just corrects it. Can you see that? Where it just pushes it up. They can come away. You can take them off in a few months' time when the roots have gone down into the pot. So that's that one. Pleased with that one. So that can go back on the stand along with that one. So I'll carry on doing these now, and then if I see anything else that might be interesting to have a look at, I'll film it as I go. So I just wanted to say with these, I know there's a bit of green in the bottom of the pot there, but I'm not too concerned about that. All I've done with these, I think they're fine in these glass jars. They seem to be fairly healthy looking. Got some nice roots going down through here, so I'm not actually going to do anything to these at this stage. If I can see any sort of dead roots at the top here, then I'm going to cut them off as best I can. Whoops, that's gone down in the pot. There we go. Get that one out. Fiddly. There you go. So I'm not really going to pay too much attention to these. It's more I wanted to get them out of the glass jars, as in, you know, waterculture. But, you know, these are looking all really, really good at the moment. So it's just cut off any dead roots I can see at the top. Sorry, I don't know if you saw any of that. That one there can come off. And then, I'm not filming it, but basically. So this is proving more difficult than I thought. My thing keeps running out of memory, so I've got to keep deleting old videos. So what I was saying, cleaned it all up, taken all the roots I can see that are dying. I'm going to fill it up with water, let it all flush out over for a bit. Then I'm going to, I've actually wiped the leaves off on this one, although it don't look like it, but I have. And then I'm just going to put it back on the shelf. So I'll give it a good flushing. You can see the roots better now. You can see they've all greened up. And yeah, that one's ready to go back on the shelf. So this one's a bit different. This is quite possibly a species. We're not 100% certain, but it's, you know, it's a very unusual shaped flower. Can you see the flower? And it's only got the one flower. So just bought it from a store. I have no idea what it is, but that's a nice little kiki, and it's actually the kiki that is flowering. I'm not going to split it off. I want to keep it together. I do seem to have another kiki growing out here, and that's sort of come out of the center of the plant. So I'm suspecting that this is going to die back the main sort of part of the plant, and it looks a bit floppy. But I'm going to whiz it out the pot and have a look and see what it looks like. So, oh, not a lot of, very green in there. Not a lot of roots, not a lot of roots that are still alive. Anyway, this is alive down the bottom here, so we'll keep that. I'm going to trim off all these other roots, and yeah, and then I'm just going to repot it. I'm not going to touch any of the leaves. I'm going to leave these old leaves on there, see if they do anything. But yeah, this is a very different sort of plant, so I'll pot this one up as well. So I'll do all that, and then I'll show you when I've repotted it. So what I've done with this one, that big pot seemed a bit overkill for that size plant. So I've got loads of these glass jars. So yes, they don't have drainage, but I'm not too worried about that, because what I do is I fill them right up to the top, let them soak for a bit, and then I empty it all out. So this one, I didn't do a lot to it because it's in full flower, and I'm very happy with it. Give it a good flush through. This is another pot without any drainage. But when you look, you know, in here, I've got lots of lovely new roots coming. So it's doing all right, this one. So I haven't mucked it about too much at all. Yeah, so that's all I'll do for this one. This one, I'm not liking the look of what's going on in here, even though it's in flower and it's flowering beautifully, and it's got a couple of kikis. I'm actually going to pull this one out of here and see what's happening. There's another kiki coming down there as well. So, yeah. And I'm surprised because that's probably why it's not in keys, because not many of those roots are alive, which is not good. So let's have a look. Just sterilise my scissors. Got to remember to sterilise these scissors in between, because you never know. Thought the alcohol stuff's evaporated. Maybe I should keep the lid on it. There you go. There we go. Right, so let's have a look at this little fella. He's looking very sad. I've definitely neglected this one. So, oh my God, oh no, that's alive, but it's just dry. Oh, he seriously needs a drink. Okay, so let's get rid of some of these paper thin. Now I'm not going to cut all of them off because I'm going to need to anchor this one in a pot. And these, oops, other than if they break off, these little bits of hard, wiry bits of root that is left will help that process. So just cut off anything that looks really dodgy. So these roots are alive. It's just really thirsty. I've neglected it. Oh dear, these poor fallies. So yeah, I'll just cut that one off. And that bit there is not looking good. And that bit there. And that bit there. And that bit there. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Not good at all, Deb. Not good at all. Absolute. So it's only got those few roots that are alive, but that's okay. We'll live with that. I'm going to put it in a pot, so I'm probably going to have to take off the stake while I play with it in a pot. Hopefully without breaking anything off, because I'm really clumsy and I can break things quite regularly. Right, so I'm just going to be very careful with this now and get this one in a pot. So I think I'll put it in a pot before I, clean the leaves off. And I am going to put this one in a pot, whether it looks now. Let's get a pot that matches the colour. We can see what colour this one is. So we'll put it in a pink one. Does that clash? Yeah, I think it does. Oh dear, what about a purple one? Purple, I think. So, hold it in place as best I can and get it over the tray because all the water will run through. This pot is probably too big, and I'm going to have it low down like the first one I did. So I'm not going to have it so it's nice and anchored. Right, so that's that part. The other side. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. By the way, this is warm water. It's not cold, but I've got this soaking in, so none of these are going to be shocked. So I think that'll do actually. Put it too low down. So this one's probably going to need a few stones to keep it in place. I've knocked the little kiki leaf off. There you go. Told you I was clumsy. So I'm gonna. I think that's about it. So let's. I don't think I need that stake, to be honest with you. I think all I need is a few stones. So I'm gonna have to pause it and go and get some because I've run out. And get a few stones, which I've got outside. I keep them outside my sterilised stones, so yeah. So I'll go and get those. Let's lift it up a little bit, not too deep in the pot, and then I'll come back and show you when I've finished it. So here we are, I've done this one now. So I did put the stake back in because it was leaning over a bit. So I've just put the stone on this side. I know they're not very pretty. I've just got to wipe the leaves off actually, just forgot to do that. But it does help stabilise it in its pot. And you know, once the roots grow down, I can remove the stones. So yeah, that does help. So I'm just going to give this one a wipe off. We need to get some clean cloths. Probably need to get some clean water in a minute. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe off. Because I do tend to spray with bug stuff and it does mark the leaves. Yeah, so leaves go okay. So I mean, this plant is flowering, and it has flowered pretty much non-stop since I got it. So yeah, I might just put a stone to push that like that. Is it worth putting that in or no? Nah, leave it. So there, so that's that one. So yeah, so quite pleased with that. The other ones I've got left here, they're relatively just tidy them up, flush them out, and give them a good flushings. I don't need to do anything much with those. So I think what I'll do is I'll end the video here. You've seen me do a few bits and pieces. If I see anything weird or unusual, I'll come back and I'll show you. But other than that, and then when I've done them all, I'll video them all in situ, and you'll see what I've done. Because I don't want to make this video too long, because it takes forever. There we go. Forever for me to load it up, because my internet connection is absolutely useless. Anyway, I'll be back later. So this one here, the leaves were very, very poor looking. And I didn't want to pull it out of the pot because it's got some nice green roots. Can you see them? Here and around the back here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've rubbed the edge of the leaves with alcohol where I've cut them off. I'm now going to tap them and put a little bit of cinnamon on there just to sort of dry them out really. I don't want them to get damp. These two leaves are doing okay. I can't see anything down the centre, but I'm hoping this one's going to recover. So yeah, we'll see. So I just wanted to show you on this one that putting the stone doesn't really damage the roots. If I take this stone off, you'll see that the roots are growing nicely underneath it. So it just helps stabilise the plant. Like that plant is reasonably stable now, but I don't want it wobbling around, so I'm just going to put that stone back on there, and it's in my opinion, much more stable. So not doing anything with this one. I've cut a couple of the little old roots off that are sticking up out of the bark. I've chopped it up a little bit with some bark. I'm going to rinse it under the tap now and then put that back on the stand. This one, I'm going to repot it. Don't know why I'm making that decision, I just think it'll look better in a pot. So I'm going to pull it out, see what it looks like. So it doesn't look too bad. Oh, it's got a huge long, you see that? Great big long sort of crown, I guess you'd call that. So it's not too bad. Most of these roots are okay. Oh no, that one's not. Just pull that off there. Yeah, that one's okay. That one's not. That's it. So this one did have very little root in the glass. Most of the root is outside. So I'm going to repot it into one of the pots, and then I'm going to clean it off and put it back. So here we are, this one's done. Decided to put it in a pink pot, stone to anchor it. Looking good. I took, did I take a leaf off that one? No, I didn't. I didn't take any leaves off this one. I think they look okay. I'm just going to, you know, I've wiped the leaves off, going to clean the pot off, put it back on the stand. And I've actually done half of them now, which was a mission. I'm going to stop here and have some lunch, and if anything else crops up, I'll come back. So I'm just getting down to the last of them now, and I was just looking at this one, and I didn't realise that this one's actually got 3 spikes. I thought this middle spike here, which I've just staked up, was actually coming out one of the side branches, but it's not. So yeah, so this one's doing well. And it's just shooting again there. Or is that where I've just cut it? No, that's where I've just cut it. There is a shoot coming somewhere on here. Oh, I don't know where it is now. I'm starting to get, oh, here it is. Just starting to get tired. Anyway, just got down to the last three. Now, these last three were all on the same tray. And when I took a closer look at them, and I've kept them separate, they've actually got mealybug. You can't see it much on here, but it is in there. Where is it? Oh, I think this one. Because I did see a little bit of mealybug on them the other day, and I thought, oh, they need a good spray and get that. Oh, that one doesn't show it at the moment. Oh, here we go. Got a little bit in, whoops, a little bit in here, and yeah, that one's not so bad, but this one is bad. It's definitely got mealybug on the flower. Can you see it? Oh, come on, focus. There. So that's going to be removed. You can see all the stickiness as well, which is a shame because it seems like it's going to extend there, but I'll remove that spike. And also when you look, it's quite bad in the center there. So I have kept these separate. I'm going to pull that out of there and give it a tidy up and see what I can do with it. I've got my alcohol, I'll deal with it with that. I've also got my spray, so yeah, I'll get them cleaned up next. Last three, and then I'll just film you where I've put them all back, or film them I should say. So here they are. Can you see them floating around? My husband, not my husband, my son's here, and he just pointed out, look at them, Mum, they're all jumping. Can you see them? See them? See that one jump? See them jumping around? Bloody things. I hope I drown them. Look at him jumping out, trying to get to my plants. Look at them. Anyway, this lot is going to have to be thrown away because I did mix the old stuff in with that. So anyway, I've done what I can. I haven't completely repotted them, but I've rinsed them under the tap. I've given them all, you know, I've got at them. This is just a mark on the leaf here, or a piece of moss. But I've given them all a really good rub down with the alcohol, and I've got right in down there. Although it looks like I need to get in there a bit more in here. But I've tried to get in as much as I can. It won't focus. Yeah, look at that. I can see better now. I need to get down there more. But I do have a systemic spray, and I will be giving them some of that as well. And hopefully, and I will isolate these three. I will put these three on a separate tray. So let's hope I'm going to cure that. So the only two I didn't do were this one, the red one. One of the spikes has gone over, so I cut that off. And this lovely little yellow one here, I haven't touched that one either. Also the 6 little baby Phalaenopsis that need some attention too. So I'm gonna make some holes, and I will film that to show you how I make some holes in the smaller pots, and then I'm going to pop those 6 into the smaller pots. So let's step back. See how I've hopefully you'll be able to see, because the light is late afternoon light, and it's probably a bit dark in here. But anyway, they're all done. So there's all the ones at the top, all tidied up, and the ones on the next shelf all tidied up, and the ones that had the mealybug on I've put over here, so I've kept them a little bit isolated. These mealybugs don't fly, hop, or although they do hop. I saw them hop in the water, didn't we? But they don't fly, so they shouldn't be able to hop over into the next pots. But I have given these a really good spray with, I shall show you now what I use. This stuff. Okay. Ugh, the light's wrong. There you go. And there they are, look. Mealybug. Damn pest. So that's what we use. This is the strongest stuff that we can buy. The public can buy in New Zealand at the moment, because they've stopped a lot of it. So, yeah. And hopefully that'll work. So that's it for now. So thanks for watching. Please like or dislike and subscribe. And if you want to see me do any other repotting or any other thing, then please leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to do a video. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.